So I think I get the directions clear, but basically, I'm gonna do this like I would just be teaching to my ninth grade class, almost like it would be a Zoom call with them. So uh, that's why if you hear me say like, okay, students, this, so yeah, I'll just do it that way. Hopefully that's okay. But let me share my screen. Okay, my timer. All right, class. So today we're going to be talking about sexualization and pop culture. Every lesson is important, but I think in your guys' day and age with the media, I think this is very important. So everybody put in their little hearing aids and try to listen up because this one's important. Okay, so maybe you're wondering, well, I've heard of sexualization before, but I don't know exactly what it means. So sexualization is to make something sexual in character or quality. It can also mean to make someone or something sexual or consider them or it in a sexual way. Um, so this advertisement is a great example of that. Um, and when you hear sexualization, you can think of sexualizing. So maybe your friend has said a joke and you took it in a dirty way, and that means you sexualized it. You made it have a characteristic of something to do with sex. So, like I said, if you all see this ad, it's a great example. Some of you might even chuckle about it, but basically, this is an advertisement for Fat Shack. Fat Shack is some kind of restaurant. I don't know if it's fast food or sit down. I've never been there. It sounds like a southern, like Louisiana thing. Anyway, this is an advertisement for this sandwich or sub, whatever it is. And so that in itself, the sandwich is not sexual in any way, but the creators of this advertisement have made it sexual because it says 4 inches has never been so satisfying. Um, you could look at that and think, well, that's innocent. But then you look to the left and you see a girl looking at the camera seductively with mustard running down her face. Looks like it's coming from her lips. And she has a shirt on that has ripples right in the middle where her chest is. So um, this could be innocent, but the picture of the girl makes it not so innocent. And this advertisement, because of the saying that goes along with the picture of her, is now sexualized. So, like I said, this is a great example of what sexualization is. And to throw some more examples out there, you may not think this is sexualizing, but it is when young kids are dressed up to have an adult appearance. Um, we see this a lot. There's certain shows that that's what the kids are for, are these beauty pageants or these competitions where they're dressed up to look like adults, basically. I mean, maybe the parents won't admit it, but that's what it is, so that they look their best. And what's sad about sexualizing things is it takes the innocence away from it, kind of like that advertisement. So this girl is probably 7 or 8 years old. Now she looks like she's 17 or 18 years old because of what her parents or the adults around her did to her appearance. When you sexualize something, or someone specifically, you're making them have a sexual appeal. And this girl now with her earrings and her lipstick and mascara and her dress and hair. Before this, she probably in no way had that appeal, but now she does. And it's really sad to see. So another example is advertisements that focus on body charm. So in the first slide, I guess you could kind of see it, but she's pretty well dressed. But some advertisements, oh, say it's a Ford commercial, and they're advertising their F-150s, their big trucks. Well, there could be a guy working with his shirt off, and of course he's jacked. He's got big arms and big abs, or not big abs, but nice abs, whatever. Maybe you see this in a Nike commercial where the girl looks really good and they're advertising their sports bras. So it's when you sexualize something, it's something that did not need to have any characteristics or qualities of being sexual, but now it is because of rather a saying or the appeal of someone, how they look or how they're dressed. That's what makes it sexualized. And the third example I have is social media and dating apps. Whew, oh boy, you guys are growing up in this badly. Social media is huge with things being sexualized. When you're thinking, well, what do you mean by that? Well, take this for example. There are Instagram models, guys and girls, and what do you see from them? Do you remember what they said in their post? Like, did they share an inspirational quote or something about their day? No. What you remember is what they look like in their bodies, in their arms or their butt, or something sexual about them that's sexually appealing. Um, yeah, this is all over for sure. And like I said before, it's sad because the innocence is stripped away. And then also with dating apps, you see this a lot because, guys and girls will go out with each other, not because of, what they're interested in or what their personality is like. No, they just go out because they look good. The other person looks good. So, when you sexualize something, it's just going after the appeal. You're not going for their personality. It's just their appeal. So it can be a really sad thing. Actually, sorry, before we go to that slide, I have a couple of instructions for you guys. So I want to ask you guys, have you ever seen an advertisement that really sexualized something? So think real hard. Maybe you don't even have to think real hard. Think about a time where you saw an advertisement specifically, kind of like in that first slide, that something was sexualized. And I'll call on a couple of you guys. So then I would have them think about that and then call on a couple of them. They would share with the class. And then after that, I would ask, all right, guys, so now that we got that, why do you think companies do that? Why do you think companies sexualize their ads? Why are there shirtless men? Why are there really fit girls in the Nike commercials? Why do you think they do that? So then once again, I would call on a couple of them, have them share with the class. All right, so now that we've shared, why companies might do that, and we've seen or heard a couple of sexualized ads from you guys, I want you guys to get in groups of 4, and each person in the group I want to share, each person share one reason why they think sexualization is a bad thing. Why do you guys think sexualizing people or items, why do you think it's a bad thing? And then once you're done, I want you guys all to agree on the one reason you think is like the biggest reason that sexualizing can be a bad thing. So get in groups of 4, go ahead and share with each other. And then when I call you back to your seats, I want you guys to pick your biggest reason, and then we'll share that with the class. So then I would have them, like I said, get into groups of 4, pick the biggest reason, then share. And then after they share with the class, I will go to the next slide. All right, now that we've heard what you guys think are the biggest reasons, let's see if any of your reasons match the 3 big reasons I picked. So why sexualization is a bad thing. Sexualizing things, or people especially, it can undermine a person's confidence and comfort with their own body. And you might ask, what do I mean by that? Well, I'll go to the second and third point. When you sexualize someone, it can take the personality out of them, and it can make you compare and have unrealistic expectations. So going back to the first point, when someone is sexualized, so say, um, say a girl sees this model that she follows on Instagram and she posts multiple pics of how she looks and her perfect body. This can make the girl that looks at this model feel awful about herself and think to herself, man, I'm so fat, or man, my butt doesn't look like that, or my legs don't look like that. And it can just really ruin her confidence in herself and her comfort with what her own body looks like. And this can lead to a lot of unrest and uncontentment with oneself. And it doesn't just happen to girls, that can happen to guys too. A guy can see maybe a buff guy online or in an advertisement, think, I look so skinny. I look in the mirror and I look so small. And this, going to the third point, it can make you compare and it can make you have unrealistic expectations of what is actually attainable. So newsflash, if you guys didn't already know this, a lot of advertisements and a lot of people on media that are verified or whatever, their pictures are very edited. I'm not saying that's not exactly what they look like, but just know that they definitely doll up their pictures a lot. They definitely doll up their videos a lot. They get that perfect angle. Same with the advertisements, perfect angles, and it's not actually like that in real life. And this is very harmful because not only will you compare yourself, but then you'll start comparing the person you like or your boyfriend, girlfriend, and that's very harmful too, because now you're comparing them to something that's unrealistic and you're thinking, man, I wish they looked like that. I mean, oh, that would be so sweet if, this girl had this or this guy had this. And now you're sexualizing your partner because you're not too concerned with what their personality is or what they're like, who they are, or what they stand for. You're just worried about what they look like and their sexual appeal. So these are some big reasons why sexualization is a bad thing. I wish media and pop culture wasn't like this. I wish you didn't see it as much, but that's just the sad reality that we live in. But you can help yourself knowing that it's unrealistic and you shouldn't compare. Um, because when you just look at somebody for their sexual appeal, you take the personality away from them and you're not even worried about that. And that can be harmful because when you eventually get married one day, oh yeah, it's definitely important to like what your partner looks like, but that is far from the most important thing about them. And you will realize that. So when you are looking for somebody to date and eventually somebody to marry, don't look at just what they look like and their sexual appeal. Because if you truly want to be happy, you'll find somebody that you get along with and you just love being around. So, why sexualization is a bad thing? I give you these reasons. And sadly, this can lead to depression, anxiety, and eating disorders, to name a few. So, try not to sexualize things, or even if you can avoid it, try not to look at it. And I'll actually get to that here after I tell you Morgan's story. So when I was in high school, I was a senior, and I heard this story about this girl named Morgan. I don't remember her last name, but I remember learning this at like a youth group. Um, Morgan was a girl that was an underwear model for Victoria's Secret. She went to work every single day and she was an underwear model. That's what she did. So she tried on different underwear and even lingerie probably, and she posed for the camera, and her picture was in malls, on the Victoria's Secret, like, when you go to a mall and you see the Victoria's Secret girls or whatever, her picture was, or she was even in commercials and probably in magazines. And yeah, I mean, this sounds great. I mean, she's sure she was getting paid well. And maybe at one point, she felt real good about herself and had the body to be that. But then she realized that those producers of the commercials and those people taking the pictures, they didn't care about Morgan. They didn't care about her heart or who she was. They just wanted her body. They just cared about what she looked like. And they really sexualized her. And that really just ruined her. So one day she quit her job and said she was done with it. And in a way, this really boosted Morgan's confidence because she realized that there was a lot more to life than what she looked like. And she wasn't being sexualized anymore. She found a job where people cared about who actually she was, instead of, just her body. So I wanted to share that with you guys. You may not think it, but when you sexualize somebody, uh, it can just really take that person. You don't see that person for who they are, but just for their body, and that can just really be harmful. Um, so yeah, almost done here. Hang in here with me. So what can you do about this? We talked about why it's bad. So talk to and seek the advice of an adult you trust. Um, I think that's a huge first step. When you see this stuff, it's good to get it out of the dark, because when you see this unrealistic things, it can really grow in your mind. And if you don't take action, it can really plant itself in there and give you a false hope and idea of what a girl or a guy should look like. Um, Read testimonies and stories of people who are sexualized. So people like Morgan, uh, maybe find a video or an article online that talks about it. It could really help. I think another thing is avoid sexualizing others and encourage your family and friends to do the same. Wouldn't it be amazing if we lived in a world where nobody was ever sexualized, where commercials weren't sexualized, where small talk wasn't sexualized? um it seems like everybody's heads in the gutters a little bit. Wouldn't it be nice to live in a world where we could stop doing that? And then the last step I have is just, there's apps like Covenant Eyes and stuff similar where it could block that content, maybe that you're seeing, that those inappropriate images or videos or whatever. It could block that. You could block certain websites. So those are some ways that you can really help yourself when it comes to sexualizing. Unfortunately, it'll probably never leave the media or in pop culture. It'll probably always be there, but you can take steps to know that, one, it's unrealistic. Two, you should not compare yourself or others, to that image, that perfect image. Um, and three, you can just help yourself, by trying to avoid it as much as you can. So we're just gonna end with a little game of Jeopardy. Hopefully that's okay with you guys, but I know we haven't dove deeply into what sexualization is and all the elements of it, but this game of Jeopardy might help you start learning that knowledge and really getting it in your brain. But I hope you guys learned a lot today. I had to end it with a good Jeopardy meme, so hopefully your guys' answers are a little bit better. But yeah, that's my lesson about sexualization and pop culture.